Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
8:37 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. It's Brian Wilson, Larry Kudlow. There's another Larry on the line, on the Newsmaker line.
Wait, no. I'm Larry O'Connor.
I just called you Larry Kudlow.
It's all right. The Larrys are outnumbering you, Brian.
I'm reading the sign, and I should never try to read while I talk because I can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah, we can't afford Larry Kudlow on this show.
It's Brian Wilson, Larry O'Connor. There's another Larry on the line. He's Larry Kudlow of CNBC. Larry, it's been one of those mornings. How are you, Larry?
That was a great run-up, guys. That was really great.
Yeah, well,
you deserve it.
Listen, I'll try to do better with my questioning. Look, we're going to have a discussion in this country about whether or not to raise the debt ceiling.
Right.
And the president laid down his markers yesterday saying that we are not a deadbeat nation. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I thought it was, really partisan, demonizing Republicans. And if you want to make a deal, it just doesn't strike me that that's the best way to make a deal. He says he doesn't want a deal, but he has dealt in the past, and I think he will make a deal in the future. I mean, it was just such a highly partisan, in-your-face news conference. And I think the Republicans really have to come up with a strategy here. I mean, it's very important that they have a strategy. And I think that strategy should continue to revolve around John Boehner's view that you can raise the debt ceiling, that's fine, but you got to cut spending at the same time. Whatever the time horizon is, whether it's 3 months or 6 months, and that's the way they may have to run this. Further debt increases, more spending cuts. I think that's got to be at the heart of the Republican deal.
Well, you talk about how partisan the press conference was, and you kind of expect a president to be partisan. What you don't expect is for the Fed chairman to get into this. And were you surprised at Chairman Bernanke's comments yesterday in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where he basically said it's really important that the Congress raise the debt ceiling? He's getting into the mix here.
No, but he's always said that. And remember, he's a financial man. He's a money guy, and he wants to avoid anything that smacks of a debt default, not paying the interest on the debt. And I think he's right about that. I have the same opinion. And I don't think any of these deals should even hint at a default, nor should they hint at a technical default when, in fact, you're not going to have enough money to pay your bills and your obligations, whether you decide between Social Security or Medicare or veterans payments or defense payments or the troops in the field. I think you want to avoid that. But we've avoided that in the past. No one's talking about a debt default. That's the point.
Yeah.
The point is, where is the administration budget? They're putting it out way late. Where is the Senate budget? Where would this debt money be spent? And what about the sequester? That's the other part of this. I think the spending sequester has got to be implemented, and I think the Republicans should unify around that $1 trillion cut, which, by the way, was supposed to pay for the last debt ceiling increase, which, as you recall, was in late 2011, $1.2 trillion.
You know, what drives me crazy about this is you got the president there with his bully pulpit. He calls together all the reporters, and he talks about how we cannot be a deadbeat nation. We must pay our debts. And it's as if he forgot that when he was a member of the U.S. Senate, he voted against raising the debt limit.
Yeah, that's a very important point. Some of these other guys who wrote this letter, Harry Reid, Chuck Schumer, they all voted against the debt ceiling also. So much for that holy, sanctimonious approach. I think it's crazy. But look, this is all about compromise. There's going to have to be a compromise, all right? We got through the tax crisis, all right? 99%. I can buy into it. It's not my favorite thing, but whatever. Now we've got to start to cut spending. I mean, the president yesterday talked about another tax hike. Tax hike. We just had a tax hike. And we had a big tax hike. And I think that's absolute insanity if we have it, See, he wants to have his way. He wants to demonize the Republican Party. You can't do that, all right? We have a bicameral legislative process here. He's going to have to put up with the House Republicans, but they've got to have a strategy. And as I said, I think that strategy should be maybe you need 3 to 6 months. Work out, yes, a higher debt ceiling with lower spending cuts and implementation of the $1.2 trillion sequester spending cut. That has got to take place because spending is the problem.
All right, Larry Kudlow, I wanted to ask you, while you're up there in New York, what is the impression of the inaugural down here? We're getting reports of people wanting to get out of town because it's crowded. I know that happens in New York at New Year's. All the New Yorkers get out of town. Is there interest? Is it going to be anything of significance from the New York media perspective?
Well, I must tell you, I'm sure there will be, but, it's not really my crowd.
So what you're saying is you're not going to come down and join us?
I'm not getting the invites and the phone calls for the Obama inauguration.
Strangely, some of mine are missing as well, Larry.
I'm sure there's a lot going on, and all those guys gave a lot of money and all the rest of it, and God bless them, and they won, and that's the way the system works. But me, I'm just going to be here trying to do my job.
Well, Larry Kudlow, you're in good company there. Larry Kudlow is the host of the Kudlow Report on CNBC, and also, of course, the Larry Kudlow Show right here on WMAL, Saturdays at 7 p.m. By the way, Brian and I are available to be guests on the Larry Kudlow Show.
You guys want to come on the show?
Oh,
anytime.
Are you kidding me?
You want to come on the show?
Are you kidding me? I would jump through hoops to be on.
Consider that done. No. Consider that done. I never knew that. I would love to have you guys.
You notice that we're invited on the radio show, but not the big TV gig.
Yeah.
I see how he is.
No. I'm on the TV show. We have panels. We have political panels every single show. We would love to have you.
I could die a happy man if I were on the Larry Kudlow.
All right, that's done. Consider that done. I'm gonna take care of that.
All right, 8:43.